We're here with Baylor guard Davion Mitchell, projected top 10 pick out in LA. First ever outdoors film session that we're doing here. So Davion, I appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I can't wait for it.
And so we're going to look at both sides of the ball here. And, you know, I've said it all year. I mean, I think you're one of the best defenders I've ever evaluated, especially on the ball. What makes you such an impactful defender, do you think?
My thing is when I go in, I just try to speed them up. Usually when somebody's playing at their own pace, they're usually at their best. So my job is to speed them up, make them do something they don't really want to, or make them just not run offense. Because usually when a team run offense, like, they can get easy shots or easy looks, and it kind of hurts our defense. So it's like I just try to make him feel uncomfortable, make him not make that right pass, make him make a pass like somewhere he couldn't catch it, just to slow the offense down so I can help my teammates out. And then I just try not to let my man score.
Yeah, and I think it starts with your ball pressure, and I think that's a kind of a good segue into this section because, I mean, you're relentless, you know, with your ball pressure, and you feel it really from the jump, you know, right when guys cross half court. What's the key to being, like, such a feisty ball pressure defender, like, in these situations here?
I feel like around that area, I just tried to make sure he was kept him on the side and not let him go middle. Because like when you're on the side, it's really like nowhere you can go. Just because even when I played offense in our practices and we kept people on the side, it was so hard to just operate on the side of the floor instead of in the middle of the floor. So my job there was just to keep him on the side and keep putting ball pressure. And you see that during the time, it was no offense ran. It was just like basically him going one-on-one. So it was a win for us because like he couldn't really do anything. He was like rushing, and I think I played really good defense right there.
Yeah, they can't get into anything.
You're right.
Right, and that really starts with you. And you guys are a no middle team, right?
Yeah, that's one thing we emphasize at Baylor. Never let them go middle. Keep them on the side. We all loaded up. If we go middle, we can't really do anything.
Right.
But if we go to the side, we all loaded up and ready for them.
And so you had your moments too against Cade Cunningham. In this game in particular, a lot of scouts in the building. Take me through what you kind of remember about this possession and what's going through your head, knowing that, you know, this is a guy who could be the number one pick.
I didn't really look at it like that. I kind of knew that Cade like doing like the shimmy going right. I watched a lot of film on him before I played, so I was just waiting for it. And even earlier in the game, I remember he was going right, and I waited for it. I ended up taking the charge, but I just knew he loved going right, and then I kind of cut him off. And then it was like, all right, now I'm about to back him. If he backs up, I can use my speed and try to pressure him and makes him go faster. And then I think that's what I did. But throughout the game, man, he played at his own pace throughout the game. It was just some sequences I knew I could speed him up and just try to turn the ball over.
Yeah, quick feet, great stance, active hands, and like we said, relentless. What's the key to, like, because people say like your balance is incredible, and that's what stands out to me. And you also see that in a guard like Drew Holiday, right? And we have some of his clips. Like, he's just really hard to move. Where does that come from for you?
I just think, man, like growing up, I always kind of been like a bigger guard. So it's just like when someone hits my chest, I usually just like, it just depends. Like sometimes if they hit my chest, I would stand them up and I'll be fine and not like lose my ground. I'll be able to like stop him and he'll be able to stop. And sometimes I'll be like take a charge if he out of control. So it was just like and then for me, I think I'm really good at is stopping. Like I know how to, like I'll be able to go and guard, and if he stops, I can stop too. And I think that's what I did really good here. When he was going and he stopped, I stopped him at the same time. Even though I really didn't hit him on my chest until like in the paint, it was just like I stopped him at the same time as he stopped, and I think that's what really disrupted him right here.
So like right there, being able to slam on the brakes, and then use the quick hands. And so what do you say at this point? Are you a trash talker or no?
Nah, not really, but it was like at that moment, it was like he was going one-on-one.
Yeah.
It was just like a heat of the moment. Like they was up the whole game, but no, it was just a close game the whole game, and those guys played really hard just like us. So it was always a competitive match every time we played them. So when he went there, I was like, nah, don't do that. You ain't gonna do that. It was something like that, but it was a fun game, man.
Yeah, no question. And like I said, you had your moments against him, and so we have a bunch of different guards in here, but one guy who maybe like doesn't get his due or his place as a defender is Javon Carter, and I know he doesn't play a huge role in the NBA, but he was a guy who to me was just like an absolute pest.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he played the same conference. Like, Have you watched him at all? Like, do you remember him in college?
I don't remember. I didn't watch him a lot, but I heard a lot of stories about him. Like a lot of people at Baylor, like the old guards, talked about Javon Carter, how he really just messed up Baylor's whole offense. And it was funny because like every year I would hear that story from a different person. Like, Javon Carter killed us on the defensive end. He made us like 91 to dribble. I'm like, man, he was a good defender like that. And come to find out, I mean, I watched a little bit, but not as much. But it looked like he can guard.
To me, Drew Holiday is still maybe the best defensive guard in the NBA, just because it's the ball pressure, it's the technique, it's the being able to battle against switches, like everything.
Right.
And so, what do you like about him as a player? And what do you see on this possession here?
He's using his chest, and he sped Dragic up. Even though Dragic thought he had him because he's all the way at half court, he kind of like sped him up, and like Dragic didn't change speeds the whole time. He went one speed, and it's like that's what you really want the offensive player to do, is like keep going full speed, because you're really like he's like out of control. Like he has no plan after he like thought he went past him, and then Drew Holiday recovered like perfectly. And it's probably something that I probably would have done, but I don't know if I would have stole it.
Right.
But he recovered perfectly, and he knew Dragic was left-handed, so he knew like he really didn't have nowhere to go.
And just being a ball hawk like that, right? And then even here, picks up Tobias Harris, kind of similar with that type of ball pressure that you show, right? Just turning him. And then we'll get into some of this later, but then I'll switch on to Dwight Howard. I'll front him, know I got backside help, and then use my length, right?
Right, for sure.
All right, we've seen the ball pressure, but you're one of the best I've seen taking on-ball charges, like right in the chest. Do you know how many you took this last year or no?
Nah, shout out to Coach Drew, though, man, because Coach Drew, it was crazy because at Auburn, I don't remember taking out one charge. I mean, really? I probably did, but I don't remember taking out one charge. I used to always like stand people over my chest, and I mean, it didn't really do anything. But Coach Drew talked to me and was like, man, you hit a lot of people with your chest, like, and you don't really change the play. And then Coach Drew said, think about taking like on-ball charges. I think you'd be really good at it. So I just started doing it in practice, and people were hitting me in my chest. I mean, I didn't do it every time, but you kind of know when to fall.
Right.
Like, like you kind of know, like, all right, this dude is out of control. You got to fall here no matter how hard, or you just got to fall here. I remember this play, actually.
So what do you see on this one then? So
he bumped me here, and then I was like, oh, yeah, the second bump, he's going to call this. I could have failed the first one, I'm like, but he probably not going to call it. But the second one, I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to call it, just because the bump, like, keep going, here. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then, all right, I knew he was going to call it this time.
So right here, you felt like you could have maybe fallen.
Yeah, for sure. And I was like, I'm not in position. But I was like, the second one he hit me in my chest, I'm going to fall for sure.
So some of these guys are kind of not toward the latter stages of their career, but like some vets who've been doing this for a long time. And I think Kyle Lowry's the one who's maybe like the charge OG.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? Have you watched much of him? You'll hear some comparisons with you guys.
Yeah, I heard some comparisons. I mean, I watched a little bit. I mean, not as much. Like for defender, I didn't watch Kyle Lowry. Like for a defender, like watching film from like defense wise, I never watched Kyle Lowry, but offense for sure. But defense, I remember him taking a charge in the All-Star game. I was like, man, this dude is crazy.
He, on ball, off ball. He's really good off ball too. Like it's one of those guys who just stand in the lane, let you run into him. And then, he's a genius though.
For sure,
he's tough as hell, basketball genius.
Yeah, he's definitely a dog.
And so here's another one too against Cade. He likes that move too, right?
Yeah, it was the same move he did on the other side, but it was just on the right side. He loves doing that shimmy going right. I kind of knew like, all right, he's probably about to go right here.
And even like he gets kind of like the edge a little bit, right? But you're so good at just recovering.
Because he extended, like I said, he extended. I was like, oh yeah, you gotta fall. Like he extended, like the ref is gonna see that he's like right in front of you. You gotta fall right here. I mean, even if they don't call it, I mean, it's just like you just have to.
Yeah, you gotta fall.
Yeah.
So I think probably in college they call more charges than they do in the league.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they love that, especially from the weak side. But I mean, I still think you're someone who can bait guys into this.
Yeah.
At the next level. And this guy's maybe a little bit toward the end, right? But Pat Bev, like especially in his heyday, I mean, he would get up in Harden and make him really uncomfortable. Do you like him? Like, have you studied him defensively at all? And what do you see here?
He's active the whole time. He's moving his feet. He can't, like, Harden can't get in the rhythm right here. Like, just because he touched the ball. Who did a really good job is this, who else? Avery Bradley does this too.
Yeah.
He gets his hand on the ball. Like, he's never in the rhythm. Like, this whole thing. It's like he's out of rhythm. Now he's right here, just go out of control. You know what I'm saying? Like, he bothered him like that whole play.
How would you defend him? I guess like on an island, ISO 1-on-1, like which way are you sending him? What are you doing? I mean, obviously right, you would think, but
I mean, it just kind of depends. I mean, like if we're in the middle of the floor, I think that would be hard. But if we're like on the side, I kind of would send him baseline just because the baseline is like kind of my help a little bit.
Yep.
But like if we're in the middle of the floor, I mean, I'd kind of just got to guard him straight up and make sure he's not in rhythm. And even if he keep putting it between his legs, I got to do something where he just doesn't keep doing that. Like if he keep doing that, he gonna put me to sleep. I'm gonna get comfortable and he's just gonna go right by me. So it's kind of like I gotta make him do what I want him to do.
Gotcha.
I can't go with
dictate.
Yeah, I can't let him do something and then I try to recover. I gotta make him do something where he just don't want to do it. Like especially for smaller guards, man. It's like you got to be able to guard now. Like people, like everybody can score the ball. I think. Like
right.
I mean, not at a really high level, but everybody can score the basketball. You just like what makes you different. And I think that's what made me different throughout this whole draft. Is like I think I played the best defense in the country. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yep.
I mean, other people might not think it, but I just think that, I mean, I'm just the best defensive guard in this class.
Yeah,
sure.
you won the award, right?
Yeah.
So you got the hardware for it. So then the closeouts too, and not to keep hammering the on-ball charges, right? But this is part of that no middle stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like, because like if you go baseline, we're fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the way our defense is. Like, I know at the next level, I can't really just like bait on, all right, I can't let him go middle. I got to be able to like close out and keep him in front. But the way our defense is, it's like if he go baseline, we're fine. Like because I knew someone's there.
Right.
I just can't let him go middle, or he's going to be able to see everything. But if he go baseline, it's kind of like you got to only throw the drift pass middle, and it's like it's just too much. Like it's going to be too much for like guards, smaller guards, just keep killing us going baseline. You know what I'm saying? They can make a couple plays, but going middle, it's like I couldn't let him do that right here.
Yeah, and most NBA teams want to play that way, honestly.
Right.
Like they want to ice on the side, they want to keep the ball on the side, no middle drives on closeouts or ISOs, because that puts you in a tough spot, right? Whereas like if they do go baseline, like you said, you know, you got the help at the rim, you got the sink guy, you got taking away the drift.
Then you got the baseline, like you can't step out of bounds. It's just a lot of stuff that's helping you if you go like baseline, I think.
And so I'm curious, like, okay, you said never want to let it come back middle. How hard is this? Like, is that like could you have kept that on the side, or is that just impossible?
Go back. I kind of let him. I should have kept him on the side. I should have kept like being on the top side, but I think right here, was I trying to reach? Nah, I just probably got lazy and I let him go middle, and he scored this. Something probably good happened right here.
Float game, So that's what you don't want to give up in Baylor, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I probably got subbed out after this. But I should have stayed on the top side here. I mean, but yeah, Rozier Buttons are a really good guard though.
Yeah, good player.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's tough, man, to slide with guys that aggressively.
And then he kind of bait. He took me down, and he probably knew the screen was coming. Right. And I played like a dummy. He didn't get on the top side.
And it's a kind of a low rescreen, right? So that's tough to defend and keep on the side. But then gets back to the middle. But, I mean, more often than not, you were pretty close to perfect. And then, okay, high middle ball screen, just whipping under, right? Yeah. So how did you guys defend these middle ball screens? Kind of like step up?
It was kind of like if it's so high, you can go under. Usually we send them left just because, like, a lot of guards don't have the left-hand pass if they're right-handed.
So you weak them?
Yeah, so you basically send them left. The big has to be there. I mean, but this one, he was so high, and then I just, like, shot under. And Flo probably yelled, like, under. So he probably did a really good job telling me under, and I kind of noticed it, and I got under and got the block. Yeah,
and he gives you enough space to get through.
Yeah.
And then you use your timing. Really good. And then, okay, so this is almost like a late switch, right? What do you have to take away here?
I kind of go back.
Okay, so
I got to get under. I mean, if he was like looking to pass like up here, he probably would have got an assist or something good would have happened like right here. At least like lob it over or something like that. Like, but he kind of went too deep, and I kind of like be able to like got in front of him. But I got to get, if we knew we switching, I don't know if we were like knew if we were switching right here.
Got you.
We
so
probably were
switch under him. You're saying?
Yeah. So I could switch under and the big can be able to guard him.
But again, I mean, just the effort to recover. I think this is something a lot of guards forget, right? If there is a switch, like it's probably going to be an offensive rebound. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or a lot of times if that's CP, like he's going to drag out the big, and you're going to be and he's just going to throw it over the top, right?
Yeah.
But again, to take this away and then diving into the second row, those are energetic plays, right?
Right. I didn't even know. That probably was out of bounds.
Yeah, probably. You take it though. We won't tell anybody. And then here again, like I said, I mean, on these switches, you know, being a guy who's comfortable, like, okay, switch under, box out,
Ooh,
tap it to your teammate. That's great, man.
Yeah.
Doing all those little things.
For sure.
And then a lot of it too is like on these switches, okay, being able to fight and being able to hold up. Like if you got to battle Joel Embiid for a couple dribbles, or at least like, you know, give your defense time to like react to that.
Yeah.
You got to be able to do that, right?
Right.
You feel comfortable in those situations?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially like if a little guard's on a, like say if I was on Joel Embiid per se, like people are gonna know like they're trying to get the mismatch. So my teammates are gonna help me. So I just got to do a decent job where like not let him get like an open catch. Like it got to be hard. Because at the end of the day, my teammates gonna come if they see a smaller guard and like on Joel Embiid, like they gonna come. You know what I'm saying?
So is this, what would you normally do here? Full front, 3/4?
Full front.
Full front, and then with the backside help?
Yeah. Backside help. He probably got in front of me, but I didn't even know he was gonna pass this towards like the end. Like I didn't know he was passing this. I was like, oh snap, he passed this, and I ended up getting my hand on it.
Yeah, and then you react. And then I know this isn't a switch, but just another possession against Cade.
Right.
I mean,
this and make him catch it so high, yeah.
So you just want to kind of make him uncomfortable, push him off his spot a little bit?
Yeah, basically, like, because I know if I front him, like, we got backside help, and it'll be like a lob and everybody looking, so I got to, like, push him out. Like, he probably wanted me, like, at the block so he get a post to me, but I made him go that high, and that was just, like, a perfect thing. And coming here, I remember this play right here. I think he ended up throwing it out of bounds. I just make sure he couldn't go middle. He couldn't see middle, like, as my teammates came.
So you want to take away the middle vision, and then you get the help from the baseline side, and then it's tough.
Yeah.
And not ideal spacing for our guys at Oklahoma State.
Right.
But still, just being able to kind of hang tough in those situations. And that's honestly where I see a little bit of Drew.
Yeah. Like,
you can't move this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Tobias Harris, big, strong dude, can really score it in these positions. There's that same little outside hand, right?
Yeah.
What do you like about this?
I got to keep trying to do that. This is OD.
So that's all legs? Base?
Yeah, I think, I mean, and then he's so close to him, is like, where is he going to get that power from? Like, where's Tobias getting this power from right here? Like, Drew's so close to him, it's like, he can't, like, dribble, then, like, boom. It's got to be, like he got to, like, really try to move him. And Drew Holiday legs, and he uses his length right here. Perfect.
Yeah, and he's low.
Yeah.
And so he's got no advantage, really.
Not at all.
Yeah, and I think you'll look similar, you know, in those type of situations. Okay, off the ball. So you guys had kind of a different scheme in these weak side exchanges, right? You could kind of stay put and just communicate a switch almost, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it would look like you're just like lost in space, but that's just kind of how you guys guard, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because like
zone up back there.
A lot of people, like a lot of teams do the same thing. Like usually, like if the ball is like over here, like just say if the ball was on where I'm at, and he's dribbling, somebody's on the top side and somebody's on the bottom side. The top guy's gonna cut, and then this dude's gonna get a handoff. So basically, this guy stays and he takes there, and he takes the guy that comes in the handoff. So it was like a lot of teams do the same thing right here. Like,
so in this situation, is this you just kind of getting lost or no?
That was a tough one. That I probably was getting. I got lost. I remember this because it's kind of like Mark Man helped, so it kind of like I should have just stayed like more towards 24, because like there's no way he would have made this pass all the way to number 2 right here.
Right.
Like you see how Mark stays.
Yep.
Like there's no way he would have made this pass over 2 big defenders. So I should have just like cheated to the baseline, and then he probably would have turned it over right here.
So if you take away that drift,
he had
then
nowhere
that's
to
all
go.
you.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes losing vision on your guy, right?
Yeah.
Get a back cut or two, but I think more often than not, you know, you were in the right position.
That dude got a quick release.
Yeah, he does, right?
He do.
I like this one though, just because like your awareness. Okay, so what do you see? What is your line of vision? I mean, maybe you should actually be closer to the midline already, but like, you know, he's in a 3/4.
No, I remember this game. We kind of knew that Kansas was going to do this because just because they knew they was going to try to pick on our bigs.
Okay.
So we told our bigs we got a front and we got to have your backside. So when the ball was over here, I'm like, all right, I can help this. Like he's in front of him, he lobbed it, and I made a play on the ball. I mean, he kind of brought it down. I think the scouting report was him. He brings the ball down.
Oh yeah, McCormick.
Yeah. So I think I knew that he was going to bring it down, and I'm getting it still here.
Yeah, and that's the awareness, the understanding of the scouting report, how your guy's defending him, where he's going to catch, and then give me that, right?
Right.
Easy steal. And then here against kind of earlier in the season, just wanted to show again, like getting on the floor. I don't know how that ended up being your ball, but
I don't know either.
you take it. Home court refs.
The ref probably just like how hard I play, right?
But yeah, it's that type of energy.
Yeah.
So you told me before, like you didn't always play, like in high school, were you making those type of plays or no?
I don't think those type of plays, no. I mean, I can always guard. I was always the person that guards like the best players. Or we had a guy named Richard LeCount who guarded really well. He guarded like the best players too. But like usually, like I remember one game I had to guard the best player, and it was like that's when I knew like I can play defense on anybody. Like
right.
I mean, even in AAU, I used to guard the best players. I used to want to guard the best players. Just like even if they have a good game, it's like, bro, like people are gonna make shots. I mean, it's basketball. I can't stop everyone. I mean, I can try my hardest and make it hard for them. But at the end of the day, people gonna make shots. Like they work on their game just like I do.
Right.
So it's like I always wanted to guard the best players, but I was never like a dive on the floor in high school.
Yeah.
I definitely got that from Baylor.
Yeah, Davion, man, like I said, I think you could argue you've got the best film in the draft. Clearly, you know how to break it down, and so I guess my last question for you is, why do you think like you're up next, so to speak, right? Like, why do you think that, and not in an arrogant way, but like, why should people know about Davion Mitchell, and what type of player do you think you can really become?
I mean, I think people should know just because like my track record, like I'm just a winning player. Like I do things, like every team I've been on, like we always win. Like even with the Auburn team when I was there, like even though I wasn't the star player, it was just like I played minutes and I did things just to win. Like I always on a winning team. Like I always did things like just like on a winning team. Even with Baylor, like we wasn't with Kansas, we had like we lost a couple games like my sophomore year, but we was always like a winning team, and I think that's what I bring to any team. I feel like I just do winning things, and people are gonna see that. Oh, he doing winning things. I want to do things like I want to do things just like him, just because like he's dedicated to winning. Like he's not just thinking about himself. He's thinking about us. Like he thinking about others. Like he's not just all about himself. You know, I can be that person, but it's like that's just not the person I am.
Right.
Like I'm doing things for my teammates. I'm doing things like just for other people. I'm not never thinking about myself only. And the player I can be, man, that's kind of just up to me. Like I just gotta put the work in, and I mean, God forbid, like I'll stay healthy and things like that. But hopefully, I can be a really good player in this league and be able to win championships. That's my thing. Like if I'm winning championships, I'm good. Like that's my goal. I gotta be able to win championships at every level. Yeah,
well, like you said, your track record has been there. So I think your game speaks for itself. As teams get to know you, fans, they're obviously going to be thrilled. So I appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.